How do you install a Workbench vise? In today's video, I'm going to show you how I installed a Benchcrafted leg vise on my new Roubo workbench. I'm going to discuss why I chose this type of vise, challenges I faced during the build, tips to help you install yours faster and easier, and if you stick around until the end, I'm going to share what I think of it after it's all set up. Let's get building. So I've been busy building a Roubo split top style workbench over the last few weeks. A workbench I specifically chose because of its sheer mass and work holding features. Now it's time to install the leg vise. I'm going to be adding a sliding deadman to this setup as well in a future video, so keep your eyes peeled for that. When it comes to your leg vises, you have two main options. You can do a traditional style vise that uses a large metal or wooden screw, or you can use a more modern crisscross mechanism. The traditional style has to be used with a wedge or block and pin setup in order to maintain parallel clamping and prevent racking. The crisscross prevents racking due to its own mechanics. The crisscross appealed to me because I didn't want to fiddle with a wedge or pin every time I went to clamp. And, quite frankly, it looks really cool. I'm taking it even one step further and installing the Benchcrafted Glide vise, which is a crisscross vise that quite literally glides in and out effortlessly. Used in conjunction with a deadman, this vise lets you clamp all kinds of large and long workpieces with incredible clamping power. After unpacking the contents of the Glide leg vise and crisscross mechanism, I got to work on the first step. This is installing the small metal pin that keeps the handwheel attached to the screw. Easy enough to pop into place with a mallet. With this type of bench vise from Benchcrafted, you have the option of installing a retro style or classic style vise. The difference being in how the crisscross mechanism is secured to the workbench. The classic version utilizes a pin that needs to be drilled through the bench leg and would be a tough task to do on an existing bench without the use of a drill press. So, they recommend using this style only on a new bench build and not to upgrade an existing bench. The retro style bench, on the other hand, doesn't use a pin through the leg itself and is easier to install, so it can be installed on a new or existing bench. I heard the word easier and decided to go with the retro style. As with all crisscross style vises, the meat and potatoes of the project is hogging out a large portion of a bench leg and your chop to be able to recess the crisscross mechanism. There are different ways you can approach this, but I chose to create a template with my CNC machine. After creating a quick file, I saved the G-code and then cut the template into 3/4 inch thick MDF. After I have my template all set, I can use it to transfer the shape onto my bench leg. Then I can hog out the majority of the material down to about 1.25 inches and close to but not touching my template line. I started off using a 1/4 inch spiral upcut bit to do this, but quickly realized it's going to take me forever with this bit, so I swapped it out for a bigger bit. I think I went with a 1 inch wide straight cut bit. It was way faster. Make sure to remove small amounts at a time when you're trying to remove a lot of material quickly with your router. I ended up using 6 or even 7 passes here to remove the bulk of the material until my final pass. For my final pass, I picked up a monster of a compression bit that will let me cut 1 3/4 inches deep. It has a bearing on the bottom of the bit. I'm going to need this because the pockets for the crisscross need to be 1 7/16 inches deep. I'm going to take double-sided tape and secure my template to the bench leg, and then let the bearing ride along the template to reach my final depth of cut and cut right up to the edge of my line. When you use a template bit for this, you want to make sure again that you removed as much material as possible and you're really close to your final line. That way your template bit has a minimal amount of material to remove and it will work smoothly. If you try to remove too much material at once, your router is going to jump on you, and trust me, it's scary. Once I get my pockets cut on the bench leg, I can rinse and repeat this process on the chop. The only difference being I don't have to create a pocket for the acetyl bushing on the chop, just the crisscross mechanism. Some chisel work will get these pockets nice and square. And guys, getting these pockets square where the mounting bracket for the arm will go is critical to the function of the vise, so make sure to take your time on this step. You'll need to install a base plate at the bottom of the large pocket on both your chop and bench leg. This creates a smooth surface that your crisscross mechanism can work on. Now you can move on to installing the crisscross mechanism. The first piece will be secured to your bench leg and chop with 2 screws, and these are machine screws. You need to use a tap to pre-drill the wood to be able to use these screws, and Benchcraft doesn't provide that tool. I learned the hard way when I got to this step and didn't realize that they don't give you the tap. So I had to stop what I was doing, get in my car, and drive like 6 minutes down to the hardware store. It was traumatic.
It was very traumatic.
Anyway, you need a 5/16 18 tap, and if you don't have one at home, a 1/4-inch drill bit so you can make a pilot hole for that tap. So what you want to do is mark the locations for your machine screws with an awl, and then take your 1/4-inch bit and drill 2 pilot holes. Then take your tap and drill the taps into those pilot holes. Since this is the retro style crisscross, we can take the arm and place it in the bracket, and then place the 2.5-inch mounting pin in. Place the bracket in the pocket you've created, swing the arm up, and secure it with the machine screws. Repeat that process to install the bracket and arm on your chop. Make sure you pay attention to the instructions on how to orient the arms here. They're supposed to be facing a specific way. I messed this step up. Read the instructions, it shows you which way they're supposed to be facing. Once that's all set, you can test the action of your crisscross mechanism. Cross the arms and place the pivot pin in with a retaining ring on one side only. You want to do this because before all is said and done, you're going to be mounting and unmounting the arms multiple times, and if you're removing it with the retaining pins on both sides, it's just a pain in the butt. Once you have that on, the crisscross should have a nice smooth action. Now I'm going to drill out the hole for the vise screw on my chop and get to work on installing the flange and wheel. The important thing about this step is to make sure that the screw doesn't touch the walls of the hole. That's what makes the vise glide smoothly. To make sure the screw is centered, you can draw a line that bisects the hole. Then you can put the screw and wheel in and line up the screw holes on your line, and then mark the location of the screws with an awl. You're going to tap out those holes again with the 1/4-inch drill bit and the 5/16 18 tap, and then use the Allen wrench to put in your machine screws. At this point, I drill out the hole for the screw on my bench leg, but only because I screwed up and forgot to do it before I assembled the bench base. Whoops. Good thing I have my $10,000 woodpecker drill straight guide thingy to drill a straight hole. Does anybody else out there think woodpecker tools are way overpriced? I mean, get over yourselves. Let me know in the comments. Install the nut on the screw on the back of the bench leg, and again, make sure the screw is not touching the sides of the hole here. This is what makes the glide mechanism glide smoothly. Now you get to take the screw and chop back out because you need to put the acetyl bushing in the circular pocket that you drilled out in the front of the bench leg. It's subtle, but the hole in the acetyl bushing is elongated in one direction. You want to make sure the elongation is pointed north-south. Get that in and then put the chop back on. Reconnect the crisscross, and voila! You have an amazing piece of woodworking genius. So I wanted to show you how this glide leg vise works. I used to have a really crappy homemade vise on my old bench that I really didn't like. So first of all, it glides nice and easy. You notice the wheel going in and out is effortless to spin. I really like that. Put your piece in, clamp it down, and the hold down power is awesome. My old vise could never do this. It's a very long board clamped right in the middle. You'd almost always get the board dipping on one side, but you can take a nice heavy jointer plane and plane, and it doesn't dip at all, which is awesome. You go to unclamp it, nice easy spin. The other thing I like about it is used in conjunction with the dead man. You can put a really long board in, like this piece of birch. And it holds really nice and secure. And you can work on stuff really easily. So overall, guys, I would definitely recommend this vise. It's a little bit on the pricier side. I think it was $350 to $400, but it's definitely worth the investment and what you get for ease of use, clampability, power. I mean, this thing's gonna let me actually do woodworking as opposed to my old vise that I had that I was constantly fiddling with, constantly messing with. It was constantly failing on me. This is a worthwhile investment. I had never installed a crisscross leg vise before because I found the process intimidating and difficult. But trust me, if you take your time and read the directions, you got this no problem. Thanks for watching all. Make sure to check out these other videos in the Roubo Workbench build playlist.